I could not exaggerate how important Dr. Martin Luther King has been in my own life. When I grew up, we had a bust of him in our home. I would see him every day. My parents were avid supporters. My mom was at the I Have a Dream speech on the Washington Mall. My dad was president of the Des Moines school board, and he was trying to desegregate the schools. And in 1969, the year after Dr. Martin Luther King had been killed, I was bused along with my sister to an all-black school across town trying to model greater desegregation. We were the only two Anglos at that school. Also, the man I'm named after, Bishop James Thomas, who was the first African-American bishop in the Methodist Church, was friends with Dr. Martin Luther King. He was an important figure in my life. And do you know, I ended up sharing the same systematic theology. I just used a funny phrase. But systematic theology is the academic discipline of having a coherent system of how you talk about God and our faith. And do you know that Dr. Martin Luther King was a serious theologian? He went to Boston University to get a PhD in systematic theology with Edgar Sheffield Brightman, who was the father of a specific school of thought called Boston personalism. Well, that is now my theology too. It's behind every sermon that I give. Dr. Martin Luther King is the fullest expression, the most famous Boston personalist ever. I also studied at Boston University for my theological training. I want to tell you a little bit about this theology. I know this won't sound like a sermon, but this theology, I think, can change the way you view human beings, change the way you view life itself. Boston personalism. Its basic claim is personality is the key to reality itself, and personality is the supreme value. So let me start with the second sentence. The word personality, that word was being used in the mid-20th century in a different way. I still like it, but personality is really just a synonym for person or soul or consciousness. I like the word personality though, because you have to remember the first claim, that every person is unique. You are a unique personality. Some amazing mixture of memories, thoughts, hopes, strivings, dreams, styles, perceptions, attitudes. You're this amazing, beautiful concoction of a completely unique personality. Now, the reason personalists call personality the supreme value in the universe is that every person has inherent, intrinsic dignity and worth. Each person is made in the image of God. Each person, that's consciousness or soul, same thing. And that the fundamental ethical stance of a personalist is that you can never rob the dignity of a person. It's intrinsic, inherent, and they are completely unique. So, if you're a personalist like me, theologically, the main task is to fight or resist depersonalization. Anywhere, anytime someone is being robbed of their dignity or their personhood, depersonalization. Anytime that systems don't recognize the unique aspect of every single human being. So in the mid-20th century, personalists were very worried about totalitarian governments, that they rob human beings of their uniqueness, treat them like cogs in a machine. Personality being the supreme value also means you can never treat a human being like an object, ever. They're a full subject. They're not something, they're somebody. Nobody is nobody. Everybody is somebody. They're not something. So you have to recognize that they're a full subject, and also you can never use a human being as an end towards, as a means towards an end. Okay. So you have to resist this depersonalization. Anywhere a human being is being manipulated or used for other purposes, they are their own purpose. They're a person, a soul, a consciousness. I like the word depersonalization more than the word we use now. We talk about injustice, but justice or injustice can seem like it's referring to abstract things. I like to stay focused on the human being. In what way is a person, a soul, or a consciousness being harmed, being treated like an object, being treated as something less than whom they are, a beloved child of God? So a personalist like me is always on the lookout for deep personalization. Martin Luther King, that's why he was fighting racism. He thought it depersonalized human beings, to put them in a category like black or white. You see, personalists believe the person is the sole category. You can't put a person in a category. You can only put aspects in the person. That's why Dr. Martin Luther King said that we should be judged by the content of our character rather than the color of our skin. Everybody's a person, period. So I love the ethical sharpness of the Boston personalist perspective. And now let me tell you the metaphysical edge. This will get a little abstract, but I also think it can change your perception of the world. Personality is the very key to reality itself. What personalists recognize is there's only one thing you directly experience: your own consciousness. You're a self-reflective consciousness. Everything else you know, everything else you experience is coming through your consciousness. You don't directly experience anything else except your own consciousness. And then you're open to ideas and other realities, but it's all through your own consciousness. So, why would one ever claim that the fundamental essence of the universe is matter or atoms? Why would ever make that claim? You don't directly experience matter. You only directly experience consciousness. So, the personalist makes the claim that the fundamental reality in our universe is consciousness. In fact, even more metaphysically, everything is mind or mentation. The universe as it is within the mind of God. God's greatest miracle in the universe is the creation of souls. So the universe is a society of persons relating to the supreme person, God. I know this sounds metaphysical, but it can change your sense of reality, because suddenly everything is saturated with meaning and purpose. And it enlivens your appreciation of interiority. Going within your own consciousness is your most direct access to the essence of reality. It gives you purpose. And also, it makes values real. Think about this. We say God is love. Matter can't love. An atom doesn't love. A thing doesn't love. Only consciousness loves. So, when we say values like love or peace, or honesty, or fairness, or forgiveness, all those values, they only reside in consciousness. But consciousness is what is most real, so values are real. Do you see the sharpness this brings to when we talk about love? We're talking about the most real thing there is. Committing yourself to what is most real. Dr. Martin Luther King wrote his PhD thesis against people that want to make God impersonal, God just as a force field, or God as an energy, or God as the ground of being. He thought that God is a consciousness, the infinite consciousness, or a person. Now, when we say God is a person, we don't mean arms and legs, we mean a consciousness. And you see, I believe this form of theology takes serious, actually, the most traditional claims of the faith, because the singular purpose of the Bible is to show that human beings and God are personally related. That's the collective impulse in the Bible, personally related. It's a love relationship. That means it's persons, not arms and legs, consciousness. And also, the Bible, controlling idea in the Bible is that persons are striving to do what is right and good. We fail, but we're striving to do that. This is what the goal of your consciousness is, to develop its most noble aspects, to do what is right and good. We fail in that all the time, but you are a person striving to do better. I just talked theology right at you, a bunch of it. But really, it's getting back to the most basic things. you are personally related with the creator of our universe. You are held by God. You are loved by God. You are deeply related to other persons. We are who we are in our relationships. And so, I'm praying for your personhood today, that you're achieving your most noble aims, that you're exploring that vast interiority, that beautiful subjectivity that you are, for all the greatest values, all the real values reside within you. Take hold of them. Amen.